Sepsis is one of the most health threats. Every year in the US, there are over 1.6 million of cases of sepsis, resulting in 260,000 deaths and $25 billion in hospital costs. More people die from sepsis than prostate, lung, and breast cancer combined. One patient out of 3 who die in the hospital have sepsis. Sepsis is a race against time. Each hour counts. The treatment protocols to treat sepsis are very well established. However, the disease is diagnosed very often too late. There is a very strong need for biomarkers. Our company is developing a point-of-care sensor to measure nitric oxide from a small sample of blood in few seconds. We will use this measurement in the intensive care unit to monitor patients at high risk of sepsis during their stay in the ICU to detect the disease as it develops. Our commercial strategy is to partner with leaders in point-of-care device and blood gas analysis to capture this large opportunity. There are over 5 million people admitted in the ICU every year in this country. Clinical Sensor is the second company funded by Mark Schenfish after Novan, which went public in 2016. Since 2014, we have raised over $4.5 million in non-dilutive funding and going to raise some additional fund this year. We have completed proof of concept in animal models and currently evaluating our technology at the UNC Burn Center with Dr. Bruce Cairns. We're conducting a study on 80 ICU patients. We are at the table 22 in the innovation room, and we'll be happy to show our device and to talk more about the company. Thank you.
Next up is Russell Thomas of NIRvana Sciences.
Extracting more and more information from each patient sample is an enduring trend that seems to never end in life sciences. People often refer to this trend as multiplexing. More concretely, if you have a disease that can be diagnosed in 4 tubes of blood, by increasing your multiplexing capability, you can generate that same amount of data in 1 tube of blood, saving time, money, patient pain, and for example, in pediatric leukemia, it can be the matter between life and death. My name is Russell Thomas. I'm co-founder and CEO of NIRvana Sciences. We are a spin out of NC State commercializing red and near-infrared fluorescent dyes. A typical fluorescent dye actually has a pretty wide emission. NIRvana Sciences dyes are ultra-narrow emissions, and this translates into significant advantages in more multiplexing power and better data resolution, which means we can stack a lot more colors into a laser channel and drive a lot more information off that patient sample. Our entry market is flow cytometry, a multiplexing platform for interrogating the body's immune response, and it's very important for cancers, infectious diseases, and much more. Our entry market, the dye subsegment of flow cytometry, will be a $500 million market in 2020. This past fall, NIRvana Sciences put in place a substantial funded development agreement with a major flow cytometry player. We have raised and gathered over $4 million of mainly non-dilutive funding, also with a Series A. We have a strong team, including Rich West, who's our chairman of the board, and we will be beginning the raise for a Series B in a few weeks to drive our plan to exit within the next 3 years. Thank you.
Next up is Richard Spero of Redbud Labs, or Ricky.
Good afternoon. The hottest segment in diagnostics is molecular diagnostics, and the fastest growing segment in molecular is point of care. The guys that build those systems, they're our customers. They buy our products to solve fundamental technical challenges in how they process their samples. We launched our first product last year. It's a microfluidic mixing chip. Our customers use it to do things like speed up their reaction times, improve the yield, reduce the cost to their cartridges. In the first 2 months of 2018, we're going to match our revenue from last year, and we're on track to double our run rate again through the first half of this year. So this is a growth year for us, and right now we are 100% focused on making sure we have the right people in the room. We've already got a great R&D team. We've proven that we can invent new stuff, and we can get it working, and we can get it in customers' hands. And we just filled 2 critical roles on our management team, one in operations and one in business development. We're still looking for the right people to surround that leadership team, including investors. Now, we brought in almost $7 million to fund this company so far, but we have yet to sell any equity. And we'll do that for the first time late this year when we raise a Series A. So if that sounds like something that's of interest, let's chat. Have a great show, everyone. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Next up is Michael Hannan of MycoMed Technologies.
Hello, my name is Michael Hannan. I am the Chief Business Officer for MycoMed Technologies. MycoMed is a urine-based diagnostics firm for diagnosing infectious diseases. We were spun out of Johns Hopkins University and are based on the research of our CEO, Dr. Kieran Marr. Dr. Marr is one of the foremost experts in the world in the area of opportunist infections. Our first product is a product called MycoFlo ASP. It is a urine-based dipstick test for detecting pulmonary aspergillus infection. Pulmonary aspergillosis is a major risk for any immune-compromised patient across a variety of diseases. We anticipate the market use for this to be 3.5 million tests per year in the US alone. MycoFlo ASP allows for the early detection and thus early treatment of aspergillus infection, thereby preventing it from becoming invasive. Invasive aspergillus infection has a 50% mortality rate even when treated with antifungal drugs. There is one competitor on the market. It takes a long time to do the test. It is too complex for most labs, and it has produced inaccurate sensitivity and specificity rates. By contrast, MycoFlo ASP is a urine-based dipstick test. It has a 15-minute turnaround and has produced published sensitivity and specificity rates in excess of 90%. Our product is protected by a patent portfolio that we believe will be instrumental for a series of tests across infectious diseases. And indeed, we have development programs in fungal infections as well as tuberculosis. We have already met with the FDA in a pre-510K submission meeting. We have an approved clinical development plan and anticipate filing our 510K by the end of the year. We have been funded to date by state and federal grants and believe we have enough funding to get through to our clinical plan. We anticipate having to raise funds for commercial and manufacturing scale-up. Happy to speak with you. Thank you.
Next up, Adam Wax of Lumedica.
Lumedica Vision was founded to prove that we could bring medical imaging technologies to market that are as easy to use as your cell phone and just as affordable. Our first product is in the field of eye imaging. Current technology can detect eye disease early using a method called optical coherence tomography, or OCT. It's the gold standard for detecting diseases like glaucoma, macular degeneration, and diabetic retinopathy. If these diseases are found early, they can be stopped. However, these OCT instruments cost anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000, limiting them to large eye centers and practices. This can be a problem if you have diabetes or eye disease where you might need to travel to a large hospital to get this test. Lumedica wants to change that. We want to bring an OCT instrument to market for $10,000. This will greatly increase access to this sight-saving technology. At this price point, we can place them in an optometrist's office. 9 out of 10 eye care visits in the United States happen in an optometrist's office. And in many communities, it's the only eye care professional in town. We've already shown that we can make OCT this affordable. Lumedica has introduced a research version to the market, and we've been selling it for under $10,000 for nearly a year now. The reception's been great. We have a well-known distributor that's carrying it for the research market. I invite you to come by the innovation room and see a demo at our booth. Thing's really nice, works great. Our goal now is to move to the clinical market, where OCT already has $500 million in sales every year. It's a big market. Our first target is US optometrists. At this price point, it's very attractive to them. OCT is a reimbursable procedure, so they're eager to add this revenue, but right now they're priced out of the market. The international markets are tremendous. In India, there are 25,000 ophthalmologists and only 400 OCT machines. Similar situation in China. We believe that if we bring a low-cost instrument to market, we will be able to triple the size of the market. We're looking for funds to finalize our clinical instrument, seek 510(k) clearance from the FDA, and bring this instrument to market. Thank you for your time.
Next up, Luke Marshall, VitalFlo.
Nothing is scarier than being unable to breathe. If you or your child are one of the 25 million asthmatics in the United States, you know that an asthma attack can come on suddenly and without warning. Today, 10 people will die of asthma in the US alone. But now we live in the prediction economy, where algorithms are supposed to know what we want before we do. So at VitalFlo, we thought, what if we could use these new algorithms to predict a patient's risk when they need it the most, before they have an asthma attack? Real-time monitoring and analytics, this could help doctors make sure that the right medicine gets to the right patient and enable preventative interventions. So how do we build a big enough, good quality enough data set to put on our predictive algorithm? Well, it starts by collecting the data very easy. And that's where our mobile spirometer comes in. It's about the size of an inhaler, and a patient measures their lung function by exhaling forcefully through it. It's been through 2, soon to be 3 clinical trials, and we've shown that it's as accurate as the clinical gold standard device. A companion app on the patient's phone guides them through the procedure, and because we have access to the patient's phone, we know a patient's location, which means that in real time we can know when a patient is exposed to those environmental factors that may be triggers for an asthma attack, like pollen or particulate matter in the air. So with this holistic picture, we can have a good idea of what an asthma patient's about to face today. I'm Luke Marshall, CEO of VitalFlo, and we're excited to bring this predictive future to life. We're backed by the National Science Foundation. We have a rock star clinical advisory team, including the president of the largest academic asthma society in the world. We're on track to reach 510(k) clearance next year, and we're currently raising a seed fund to help with that effort. So if you are an investor interested in joining our syndicate, or a potential partner interested in remote monitoring and analytics, please come find us in the innovation room. Thanks.
Next up, Timothy Haystead of EydisBio. Say it? EydisBio. Thank you.
All right, these cards. Hi, I'm Tim Haystead, founder of EydisBio, a new cancer company that has developed a novel theranostic platform that enables metastatic cancers to be detected and treated with a single molecule drug. Unlike conventional chemotherapeutics, which often result in poor outcomes, our technology specifically aims to eliminate life-threatening metastatic tumors systemically without the debilitating side effects. Our approach is applicable to all cancers and not just a niche market. Eydis consists of a team of experts with a proven record in drug discovery and development, both in pharma and biotech. In my case, I was a founder of Cerenex, a successful Durham startup that was acquired by Pfizer in 2008. The core of Eydis is based on a composition of matter patent that was issued in 2017 in Europe and the US, describing our single-agent, small molecule imaging platform and its utility for first detecting metastatic aggressive disease and then safely eliminating it by selectively delivering tumor-killing radioisotopes or toxins. Importantly, an enabling feature of the technology is its ability to readily and easily interface with current screening practices such as mammography. This will be a key factor in advancing the lead to early registration. Eydis is seeking to raise startup funds to complete an IND and phase 1 trial. Extensive in vivo studies in animals and with patient biopsies has given us proof of concept data to develop our preclinical campaign to effectively meet this milestone. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Noel Heiks of MVTRAK.
Concussions and traumatic brain injury affect 2.8 million Americans every year, a $76 billion medical problem for sports, the military, and the elderly. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, because it is estimated that 85% of brain injuries go undetected and undiagnosed. MVTRAK is the game changer with an in-ear sensor that alerts for dangerous head impacts. Our patent-pending sensor, with technology spun out of Duke University, gives precise and on head impact data, precise head impact data, and comprehensive. It also, it is tightly coupled to the skull, beating out the competition with real, accurate data. It has also been proven in use with NCAA and high school teams, football, soccer, lacrosse, and even in the military with naval special warfare. We are now bringing this technology at MVTRAK to the Army Airborne at Fort Bragg, and we are actively seeking strategic partners to commercialize the technology in the military and beyond. Come visit us at our booth at the Innovation Room to learn more. We are MVTRAK. Thank you.